The absolute cheapest truck on my list today is also the hardest vehicle to physically destroy, a pre-2011 manual Ford Ranger. It requires zero dealership computers, absolutely no special tools, and its four-cylinder engine simply refuses to die. In my 23 years of running automotive bays, I have constantly watched consumers blindly finance $20,000 for highly complicated, unreliable modern trucks based purely on internet hype. Meanwhile, perfectly capable, incredibly resilient budget compacts sit completely untouched at the back of used lots, just waiting for a smart buyer. Today, I am pulling the cover off 3 overlooked, dirt-cheap pickups you need to acquire right now before the rest of the market wakes up. Because they are actually reliable. Buy one of these hidden bargains, keep the fluids fresh, and it will effortlessly outlast its price tag multiple times over. Let us dive straight into number 3. Coming in at number 3 is the second-generation Nissan Frontier D40. Specifically the base model housing the 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine. This is an incredibly rugged, bare-bones utility vehicle that the used market has completely forgotten about. A couple of years ago, an independent courier named David came to my shop stressed out because he needed a dependable daily delivery rig but only had $5,000 in cash. He was desperately trying to negotiate on a structurally compromised, rusted-out mid-90s Tacoma. I steered him safely away from that impending disaster and pointed him toward a clean 2008 Frontier, utilizing the base 2.5-liter engine. He secured it for an unbelievable $3,800. More than 4 years and 120,000 miles of brutal city stop-and-go driving later, his only noteworthy repair invoice was $165 for a replacement starter motor and a fresh serpentine belt. The general public actively avoids this specific Nissan generation because the much larger 4.0-liter V6 models famously suffered from the notorious strawberry milkshake of death, a catastrophic factory radiator failure that systematically destroyed automatic transmissions. However, by intentionally hunting down the smaller 2.5-liter QR25DE four-cylinder engine paired with a manual gearbox, you elegantly sidestepped that entire manufacturing nightmare. That naturally aspirated 2.5-liter engine was utilized globally across multiple continents in massive production numbers. Meaning, local junkyards are absolutely packed with incredibly cheap factory backup parts. This engine utilizes a sturdy timing chain rather than a fragile belt, and it provides a shockingly spacious engine bay that makes weekend maintenance an absolute breeze. When you take one out for a test drive, merely inspect the valve cover gasket for minor oil seepage, a highly affordable $35 weekend fix, and check the exhaust system for minor heat shield rattles, which are merely annoying rather than mechanically fatal. This truck is the ultimate low-cost survivor. But what if you desire a platform that shares its DNA with American automotive royalty, yet wears an entirely different badge to keep the purchase price artificially low? Let us carefully explore a true pricing anomaly for number 2. Taking the second spot is the wildly obscure Mazda B-Series pickup. This is the ultimate automotive disguise hiding in plain sight. A local homeowner named Chris desperately wanted a weekend utility vehicle for hauling garden supplies and lumber, but he was completely priced out of the entry-level truck market. He assumed he would have to reluctantly settle for a beat-up family minivan. Instead, I helped him track down a pristine 2003 Mazda B-2300 for a phenomenal $3,200. After tackling multiple harsh winters and endless weekend house renovations, his sole mechanical setback was replacing a $45 factory thermostat and flushing the aging coolant system. The overarching reason these phenomenal little trucks rot on dealership backlots is simply intense badge ignorance. The average North American consumer completely forgets that Mazda even manufactured a pickup truck during this era. Here is the brilliant, money-saving industry secret. The Mazda B-Series is quite literally a Ford Ranger wearing a slightly uncharacteristic front grille and revised taillights. They share the exact same rigid chassis, the identical suspension geometry, and the identically indestructible powertrains, rolling directly off the exact same North American assembly lines. Yet, because the hood displays a Mazda emblem instead of a blue oval, it consistently trades for $1,000 to $1,500 less than its domestic twin. When you boldly walk up to the counter at a local auto parts store, you do not even bother looking through the Mazda catalog. You just confidently ask the clerk for standard Ford Ranger chassis parts and bolt them directly onto your vehicle. Underneath the sheet metal, you are securing an immensely proven architecture without paying the mainstream popularity tax. When scrutinizing a used B-Series, carefully inspect the rear leaf spring shackles for aggressive rust deterioration, and verify the manual clutch engages smoothly without excessive pedal chatter. It provides the genuine analog truck experience at an unconventionally steep discount. That being said, while the Mazda badge offers a highly clever financial loophole, its direct domestic sibling remains the undisputed global champion of cheap, unkillable utility. Securing the #1 position is the pre-2011 Ford Ranger, specifically configured with the 2.3-liter Duratec 4-cylinder engine and a bulletproof manual transmission. This is the absolute apex of cost-effective reliability. A veteran exterminator named Paul operates a small commercial fleet of these humble machines. He purchased a white 2007 Ranger completely stock for $4,100 almost 1 decade ago. Hauling heavy chemical tanks and metal ladders every single weekday, that specific chassis just crossed 380,000 miles on the original engine block. When a local competitor attempted to convince him to lease a modern $35,000 hybrid van for his routes, Paul politely declined, brought the Ranger into my facility for a routine $280 clutch replacement and fresh spark plugs, and drove it straight to his next paying client. Modern buyers foolishly bypass these legendary compact trucks because the interior feels distinctly like cheap plastic, and the cab space is undeniably cramped for anyone over 6 feet tall. However, that purposeful lack of sophisticated creature comforts is the core reason it will outlast remarkably expensive modern alternatives. It serves as the motorized equivalent of a mechanical cockroach. It will stubbornly survive a financial apocalypse while newer half-tons wait endlessly in service bays for a software patch. You can easily drag a mechanically solid, scrape-free Ranger home for well under $5,000. Contrast that against any modern entry-level pickup that quickly eclipses $25,000, while hiding complicated turbochargers and frustratingly delicate electronic wastegates. The 2.3-liter Duratec power plant fundamentally refuses to die. It features an idiot-proof layout, a genuinely robust timing chain, an incredibly straightforward fuel delivery system, and absolutely zero hypersensitive cylinder deactivation nonsense. You genuinely need no specialized dealership tools to keep it running. A basic crescent wrench set from a hardware store can practically disassemble the entire front end in an afternoon. Routine maintenance is so aggressively cheap that discarding the truck for a newer model is never mathematically justified. When circling one on a used lot, thoroughly investigate the lower cab corners and rear wheel arches for traditional winter salt oxidation. Listen for a faint ticking from the top of the engine upon startup, usually just a slightly sticky lifter that harmlessly resolves itself within minutes of warming up to operating temperature. If your primary objective is securing a budget compact that ruthlessly outlasts its price tag while permanently shielding you from predatory repair loans, the 4-cylinder manual Ford Ranger is the smartest fiscal investment you can possibly make. Buy it with cash, drive it into the ground, and never worry about a stressful car payment again.